All right, it is 9:30. Time for the Friday night hangout. This is where we grab a brew, shoot the breeze. Great panel online tonight. This is going to be a great show. I can just feel it. People are watching. They're waiting in anticipation for the Friday night hangout. So we'll start off the way we normally do, get people settled in, and of course you can interact with us live on the internet, YouTube, Google+, votingchoice.com, Twitter. It's endless what you can do. So let's do with the round of intros, and we'll start here. We got from Wallace, Nova Scotia, Keith Elliott Stone, and we're going to flip over to Kate Breton. I have Kerry with us tonight, and we're going to go all the way to the Valley. We got Lee Hoogly Beer and Booze Reviews on the YouTube, and of course I am in Halifax, and I am with you tonight. And just a reminder for everybody who are watching live, you can do the whole PVR thing. You can scrub, catch up. The replay will be on about 10 minutes, and of course we'll have the podcast version out on the weekend, which is doing quite well. Looked at some of the stats, so pretty good stuff. All right, boys, let's start off the way that we normally do, which is to share what we're drinking tonight. So, Keith, what are you drinking tonight?
Oh, I dug this one out of the cellar, Hell Bay. English ale.
Nice. How long have you had that in the cellar?
Since last winter.
Yeah, you know, that beer keeps really well, surprisingly.
Really well, yep. It's done well.
All right. Good stuff. And speaking of Hell Bay, Privateers Lanes at Liverpool. They updated their menu, and one of the things is they have some barbecue ribs with Hell Bay. So, or Hell Bay braised, or, you know, I'm not sure which beer, but anyway. Carrie, what are you drinking tonight?
I found this in the beer store. It is now in my cellar.
Right on.
The Propeller Stout Revolution.
Nice.
It's a good beer.
Have you had that one before, Carrie?
No, this is the first time having it.
Oh, jeez. So how do you find it?
Yeah, it's nice. It's not as coffee tasting as a Rare Bird, and it's got the caramel malts are coming out really good. And chocolate malt, really good. Good. That's good to hear. Yeah, I kind of wouldn't finding me some at a beer store lately. Lee, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm on Propeller Porter.
All right, back to the standard.
Oh.
You know it's getting old when Lee goes back to the porter. And I am drinking courtesy Keith. Dropped by some last week, but he made sure I got me Picaroons Upstream. Hard to find their seasonal brew here, so nice little ale, lager ale, pilsner.
I have some of them on reserve in Fredericton.
It's a nice beer. It's a nice end of summer, fall kind of beer. So 4.5%. So it's pretty nice. All right, we got a number of people jumping in. Thanks a lot for watching, and also interact with us via the Twitter, the YouTube, Avoiding Chores, the show page, and all that. Boys, let's start with our first story here, which is UFC coming to Halifax this weekend. Actually, they're here, and we'll have the big fight pay-per-views happening in Halifax this weekend. First time in Atlantic Canada. I don't know about you boys, but I am not as much into the UFC as I was 3 or 4 years ago. Are you guys UFC fans, or are you guys like?
I'm a fan, but they have overextended themselves. They're doing like a show every week, sometimes a couple shows a week, which can be a bit of a problem because fighters are getting hurt, and fighters aren't training as long as they usually do for fights, so they get hurt more often. So a lot of cards have been scrapped over the last few years just because of injuries. So they're losing their big fights now because of that.
Keith, are you a fight fan for UFC, or are you a classic guy? Or?
Yeah, no, I check out the Ronda Rousey fights, and that's about it.
Yeah, she's basically the top draw now in the UFC. I mean, all the other big fighters are injured pretty much. So.
Yep, she is one of the top. Yeah, for sure.
Did a good job in Expendables 3.
I haven't seen that yet.
That's all right. Carrie, are you a fight fan or?
No, not a fan.
No, not at all.
No.
All right. Well, the tickets for the Halifax show really is sold out very quick, and I don't think they were cheap either. I think I saw on the Twitter feed somebody, Stephanie, she's a big fight fan, and she bought a bunch of tickets, and she dropped a few digits on her tickets there. So that's going to happen on Saturday.
Yeah, there's a lot of demand in Canada for that now. I mean, because we're sort of starved for big sports things like that, like fighting sports. I mean, also pro wrestling, which is different, but there was a big market for that for the longest time, and since we've been sort of starved for that, people have switched over to UFC, and so there's more demand for it now.
And it's not like we don't produce any good fighters. We did have a couple good Olympic caliber boxers coming out. Some wrestlers too are coming out, so it's not like we don't produce any good athletes.
Like look at George St. Pierre. He's probably pound for pound the best fighter in the world in his time in his weight class. So.
Yeah, in his time, but I think I saw an article there that just shows how much of a toll his injuries took to him there, and how much the latest when he got pounded there into a concussion there, how much he got hurt on that particular fight there.
Yeah.
All right, it's Friday Night Hangout, kids. This is where we grab a brew, shoot the breeze, and interact with you. We're going to go to the comments here shortly, but before we go to that, we just want to do a quick word on some of our supporters here. Ladies Beer League. This is a big beer weekend in Halifax. The Atlantic Beer Awards is happening. A whole bunch of events are happening starting tomorrow. The one in particular is the Lion and Bright book launch event, which is happening on Monday. The ticket is actually buying the book and getting it signed by the author, which is Canada's only Master Cicerone, which is the sommelier term for the beer connoisseur, instead of the wine. I quickly perused the book. They have them at Garrison, and it's an interesting book. But you can buy the book, get it signed, and it's pretty exciting because she's the only Canada Master Cicerone. So there's only a handful, 5 or 6 in the world. So it's nice to have that. I'll be going to the Beer and Cheese seminar tomorrow afternoon down at the Westin. So that is pretty much what I was interested in. So I'll be reporting on that. And also a quick mention that tomorrow is City Harvest, which is the big walk around downtown event. Me, Jocelyn, and Todd, we used to do that, report on that. We have over 100 businesses. They'll have a whole bunch of stuff going on, but North Brewing, our friends at North, will have their Mini Hands collaboration along with their Strong Dark Ale. They'll have $1 off their growlers and $2 off the big growler fills on Saturday. All right, so what we got for comments, we'll go to Carrie. Carrie, is there any comments on the votingchores.com page?
Lupin says, first of all, today he's drinking a few selections from a Quebec Royale. They're all natural beer according to the box, so they must be good for me. The first beer is a pure malt blonde, and the beer comes in at 4.5 ABV. Comments on UFC wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead, Jim.
Oh, no, I was going to say, was he drinking the Boreal Blonde Ale?
Yes.
So that's not a bad beer. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty good beer.
And his comment on UFC, he's never been a UFC or wrestling fan. It's popular, but whatever floats your boat.
Well, I remember I've been to one WWF house show. They stopped in Ottawa. Was it a taping show? I I can't remember it was a SmackDown taping or not. Oh, geez, I can't remember now. It's a big atmosphere. It's a big show. It's I remember like a sucker, like a rube. Rock's music comes out, and I'm up from my seat. Rock, yeah, that was. I imagine the same thing with the UFC too, right? You know, when you hear the intro music for whoever's fighting on this 12-man card.
No, well, you got to get caught up in it. That's why people go.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to make you suspend your disbelief, and you're supposed to get caught up in it.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the smaller wrestling promotions are starting to take off in the Maritimes, actually.
Yeah.
Well, no, Atlantic Grand Prix wrestling, that's been around since like the 1960s in some form or another.
Yeah, it dies and goes away for a couple of years, comes back.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Is there any other comments, Kerry?
No, that's it.
No, that's it. All right. Lee, is there any comments on the YouTube page?
There wasn't. I'm going to do one more refresh here and check.
All right.
No comments yet, it says.
No? All right. Well, we do have a number of people watching, so I'd like to thank everybody for watching. You can send us or put down one of the comments on one of the many places where you can leave a comment, and we'll get to you momentarily. Actually, just got a comment on the Twitter, person of HFX. He says here, he's watching the show, IPA, but there's no turtles in his pants. So we'll talk about turtles later on here. In the next story here, further down, we'll give the beer a chance to work its way story. But the next story is another local one, which is if you've been watching or hearing the news in Nova Scotia or in Halifax, big union fight. The Liberal government back session brought back the first big piece of legislation, which is to bring the health authorities' health to one. And that is creating all sorts of problems. And I think, personally, it is a move to put the unions against each other. And we start to see some cracks, some chinks in the union armor, taking shots at each other. The big issue, the biggest union, NSGU, the way that it's set up, they're going to lose a bunch of members. The way that the government had things kind of planned out here. I'm kind of on the fence, boys. It's either I do understand the need to kind of simplify the health boards, get rid of these, this top-heavy things and trying to unify buying and all that stuff, and then trying to, keep things. But at the same time, they're kind of just ramming this down our throats, and especially on the union side, that's going to create a lot of walkout strikes, I'm sure, at the most inopportune moment. I don't know if this Liberal government can handle that. Keith, what do you think?
Because
yeah, no, I was just going to say, you're in a rural area, so... Well,
I've been watching it really, really as closely as I should, but just from what I've seen, I do agree that it appears that the government is trying to bust unions. I do agree it has to be simplified. I think there's probably a better way to do it, but at the same time, the other night the union had a candlelight vigil. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like both sides could be handling it better, and when these issues come up between unions and governments, they're never handled well.
Yeah, that's true. Lee, what do you think?
I don't really know much about it. I pretty much agree with Keith. I mean, rarely do you hear what both sides are really saying. You hear more of what they're accusing the other side of doing. And admittedly, I haven't really been kept up with the story, so I can't really speak on the details all that much.
It's definitely one of these stories where, I understand. I fully expect my healthcare worker to get compensated properly. There's a big competition of going anywhere and getting paid a lot better than what there are in Nova Scotia. So, you know what, dealing with front lines and dealing with all the stuff that they have to handle in the healthcare situation, you know, they're worth whatever money they can get. So I don't begrudge them on that. But I think in terms of structure, you know, any, you know, attempt to try to streamline government, you know, and the health boards will have, you know, all their layers and stuff. That I'm kind of for, but man, just the way that they're going about it is kind of hard. Carrie, I kind of I had to give you a quick mute there, but what do you think, being up in Cape Breton?
I don't know. It's going to have a pretty strange effect up here because we're alone, sort of, way up on that other end of the province where nobody really cares about us. Oops, did I say that?
I care, Carrie. I care.
It's going to be something that we'll have to see because our health, CBRM, health authority, or whatever, I'm not sure what it is right now, is just making great inroads on care and everything like that. So if they have to start putting another layer or one layer to get one thing done, and that approving agency is somewhere else, it's going to cause a little bit more delays for everybody, which could be unfortunate.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think bureaucracy is ever really good for.
As for union,
Kerry brings up a good point. That's something he talks about, but really the media, this isn't talked about in the media much by the unions or the government. It just seems to be a lot about, you know, hurt egos and, you know, who does what. It's not about us. It's not about you or me at all.
Yeah, so you get rid of, I mean, you go back to the layering from one age. We're going to have one agency now that's going to control everything. So instead of 4 or 5 or 6 top agencies, there's one. So you get rid of 4. You get rid of 4 high managers. You have one guy there. How much are you going to pay this one guy to manage all them? The same as the other 4 guys? Is he doing? He's going to be doing the same work as 4 people. So he's going to probably want more pay. So there's funny things that are going to happen.
Yeah, and you know, if it brings them in line with what people next door or in other provinces do, I'm fine with that. I guess the thing I'll add here too is, you know, one of the things that they're trying to do is trying to unify that. So, you know, you think about all these contracts, all, you know, the 9 health agencies, there are all these contracts going on, and they're all revolving, and none of them are really in sync. You know how each silo, they're doing their own thing, and, you know, in terms of managing buying power and all that. So if the goal is to unify, we're having one contract on syringes and not 25, then it's one. And, you know, that kind of stuff makes sense. Or, you know, everybody wears the same blue gown, and we're buying it once and not 15 different ones, and not from your cousin down the road, so to supply, you know, one area. Or, I mean, you know what I mean?
But when it comes to cleaning out a bureaucracy, I mean, when you're putting your hatchet men in there to clear out management in different levels, it all comes down to whether they can justify what they're being paid for the job they're doing. I mean, if one person can actually do the job that 4 people are doing, then 3 of those people are gone. And I don't know if they necessarily will say, well, we should be paying this one guy more because, hey, if he can do the job they're all doing, then why even bother paying him more at this point? Right?
Yeah, it's hard to know how efficient it will be. I mean, I'm not trying to compare the two, but you know, I'm sure these health boards could take cuts to some degree. I don't know how far, but I mean, look at the school boards. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
That's the model to look at right there. Bureaucracy in that, for frig's sake.
All right, Friday night hangout, kids. This is where we grab a brew, shoot the breeze. Great conversation, great panel. I told you at the beginning, this is going to be a good show. We're going to get to the comments here in a moment. Give the chance for the guys to refresh the pages. Quick mention, Garrison Brewing. Big day for Garrison. They launched 2 beers today, available now. You can get their latest Three Fields Harvest, one of my favorite, and also a brand new, their Imperial Pumpkin Ale, 8%. That is available now. You can get that also during the City Harvest, and they'll also have Gateway Foods or Meatmongers, and they'll have meatballs and stuff. So, it'll be a good old time if you go down to Garrison to pick that up here. Just noticing on the Twitter before we get to the boys here that Will, Dr. Will, he's checking out the hangout here with the boys there. So thanks for checking in. It was good to see some of the Twitter peeps watching the show. Carrie, got any additional comments on the avoidingchores.com page, the show page?
Bluefin is getting into the La Rousse from Boreal.
Ah, La Rousse, yes.
He said the blonde. He said the blonde was nice.
Yeah, La Rousse is one of my favorites from Boreal.
Redheads are always better than blondes.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Keith knows. All right, let's move on to Lee there. Got anything on the YouTube page?
Yeah, we got some comments now. GC Storm says, good evening, guys. Not sure how long I'll be on as we're sitting outside by the fire and my Wi-Fi. I'll say hi. Let you know I'm enjoying a Garrison and Bo's Sweet Ride Harvest Wheat. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
that's
a great beer.
Collaboration, yeah.
Collaboration brew. I had it last week's hangout. Very nice brew. Very
cool.
Nice. Very nice. Yes.
CH33, no, maybe that's Chino, I guess. Maybe.
Chino, yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, Lagunitas Little Something Ale and a Livia Master Blends Stogie. Ah, interesting. Cheers, been a while since I caught one of these. Well, thanks for showing up.
Yeah, thanks for. Yep.
Yeah. And Jason Spears says, hey guys, having a Hotbot IPA, which is an excellent beer.
I haven't picked that one up yet.
Get on it.
Did a good review there on the Keith's latest One Hop series or Hop Ale or whatever.
I gave it a little bit more than a pass.
All right. Well, thanks for all the commenters on the YouTube page there. Nice to see some of the names popping up there. It's good stuff. Good to have you guys with us here. And let's see. Let's move on to the next topic, which is now we're branching out. We did our couple local stories. Now we're branching out. It should be a little bit more fun here. $14 million lotto ticket sold at Bridgewater. And now the hunt is on. Who could it be? Because there's only 5 people in Bridgewater, so it's going to be pretty quick. No.
Yeah, and one of them's the person who sold the ticket who gets the 1% of the winnings.
$130,000.
Yeah.
That is how much that ticket person's going to. Well, the owners there.
How much you want to bet they're not going to be working in retail anymore?
No. Well, I'll tell you, everybody's starting to dream now. It's great. And what I love about these stories is that the news, they got to go drive, Halifax news channels, they drove out an hour to Bridgewater. Poor weekend girl, Kyla, for CTV. She had to drive out to Bridgewater. I'm sure she hasn't been to Bridgewater in a while.
To speculate on this.
To do the word on the street. What are you going to do with the million? Did you buy the ticket?
Yeah, I got the ticket back at my house.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In Bridgewater, you got naked people running downtown and a car going crazy and stuff.
Well, it wasn't the naked person. Where are they going to put the ticket?
Yeah, I don't think they want to take the ticket back then. Maybe.
Well, then again, if you won all that money, who cares? You could run around naked, roll around the money. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, a guy could set himself up as king of Bridgetown there. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. He can walk around with his Burger King crown, walking around.
Get the Burger King mask and nothing else.
Just making it rain. People
as if the Burger King wasn't creepy enough.
We dream big, boys.
I tell you, yeah. Keeping it real in Bridgewater. No, but you know, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. I don't know for you guys. Now, have you guys remembered? Only because it comes up in the news, but you know, people win every couple of weeks and stuff like that, you know, with the lottos and stuff like that. But I guess the bigger question is, do you guys do the lotto? Or apparently I'm obliged to at work, and I don't want to be the guy that doesn't contribute to the office lotto pool and they win like $100 million. I'm the one guy that doesn't get nothing. Everybody's buying a boat and a yacht, and I'm still in my cube, hating my life.
I can see why you do it. It's a pool thing, but yeah. I probably do it maybe once or twice a year. It's kind of like one of those stupid impulse things. You wonder why you spent the $6 afterwards. Just like when you buy the little bag of beef jerky for $6. You're like, why the hell did I do that? Do that about maybe once or twice a year, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes you feel good. You know, you got to say, yeah. You know, you got to throw it in once to say, yeah, okay, I got it. You know, that's just a feel good thing. Like the other day, there's a radio contest going on here where they there's a contest for a man cave, like base screen TV, a couple loungers, and everything else. I managed to get one of the qualifying entries for it. So you know, it's if you don't participate in the contest, you're not going to get it. So that's my thought on that.
Yeah, look at the draw. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, sometimes I'll buy like scratch tickets around Christmas time because usually you'll break even or get a little bit more, so that's fine. But no, after watching my dad play scratch tickets for my entire life and not win big, I'm pretty much I'm probably never going to win. I mean, yeah, if I don't play, I'll never win. But the chances are so astronomically high that I won't win anyway. It's not worth thinking about, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Your chances of winning money are the best thing to do is go find an Indian reservation that has a casino on it in Upper Michigan or North Dakota, somewhere that's small, and you walk in and you're gonna have a good time and have fun. Maybe you win a few bucks. Like that's what we used to do, and we've won a couple of dollars that way. But not in Nova Scotia. I haven't won nothing in Nova Scotia.
Well, you know, speaking of the Indian reservations in the U.S., just reading Atlantic City is just dying. A slow death.
Three casinos death. In what, 2 months shut down?
Crazy. Trump and the other. Crazy. You got all these good for them. Reservations. Geez, there's the reservation just 5 kilometers down the road here on the road here. They want to open up a little bit bigger. They got the slots. I think they got a trailer and driving there tonight. There after walking the dog, I'm driving past. I'm seeing 12, 15 cars, and of course the local municipal elected official there. He's not too crazy about it, but you know he's very religious and stuff. So of course he's not too crazy. But hey, you know what? If they have the ability to want to do stuff, and people are going to come in and gamble, I don't know. But still.
But the gambling in Canada is more regulated, and it's tied back into the federal and provincial agencies than it is in the U.S. The Indian reserves are a little more freer in the U.S. than they are here.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move on from money because now I feel suddenly poor.
You will make $1 million in your lifetime, Jim. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I got taxed.
Probably
getting taxed. Like
not in one day.
Half of it's taxed. So there you go. So I'm sure I'll make half.
That's like saying how many whole cows when you eat in your entire life. I don't know.
I mean, come on. This is a country that even when your company that you work for puts away vacation pay for you, they tax that when you draw it. For frick's sakes. I mean, come on.
Hey, our friends at the Trail Shop talking about City Harvest in Halifax is a big to-do. Man, if you can get down to Halifax tomorrow, do it. Trail Shop, they got a whole bunch of deals going on. They got a whole bunch of boats, kayak they want to get rid of. I'll check that out. And our friends at INREACH, or two-way satellite communicator. You use when I go out in the woods. That is what you need. They've been pushing out some stats here that their peak period from May to September, they were getting 5 SOS requests a day from the INREACH, I believe. So and being a two-way communication, whether or not it's real emergency or not. So saving some money on that one. And finally, Sea Level, our friends at Sea Level Brewing, they're going to be at the OKTOBERFEST at Planters Ridge Winery in the Valley, the first artisanal winery in Nova Scotia. So they'll be there. We'll check them out and with their stuff. So, and with that, the plugs are done for another hangout. We'll get the boys here to check the comment page, see what we got going on here. And we got a pretty good show. I'd like to thank the panel for providing some good stuff here. I'm checking the Twitter. Nothing on the Twitter yet. We'll go to Carrie. Can you comments?
Yep. Bluefin says, in regards to Lotto, he's in a work group. He always plays his own numbers once a week just to say that it's a big waste of money, and it's his own real gambling format. So that's okay. Just like me, if I buy a ticket, I buy a ticket.
Yeah. Makes sense. Lee, what have we got on the YouTube?
Arthur Donald says, time for a hot pot. So a couple people drinking good beer tonight. Yeah. Actually, everyone sounds like they are. So.
Any other comments, Lee? Or
no, that's it.
All right.
A little shy on the YouTube this time around.
Well, we got a healthy bunch of people watching tonight, so I'd like to thank everybody for watching there. Comment. We'll get to them. Let's do a round of what we're drinking tonight, because everybody's drinking some good beer, and time for us to share what we're drinking. Drinking tonight. Okay, you're not really telling us what you're drinking, but...
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, speak up, boys. Speak up.
It's Hell Bay English Ale, and I want to tell you something. It is a lot better after it sellers, in my opinion.
Really, eh?
Yeah, really good. I'm very impressed. I think the next time I get some, I'll probably put it down there for a couple months before I drink it.
All right. Good stuff. All right, Carrie, what are you drinking tonight?
Lots.
Lots.
Just open all six.
What's next?
No, I'm on. What's next? No, I'm on the second Revolution because it's tasting really good and I like it. After that, I go back to the standard, the best bitter.
Oh yeah.
Pickaroon.
Bitter from our friends at Pickaroon.
Yeah.
Lee, what are you drinking tonight?
And I'm still on the Propeller Porter.
All right. You sound a little sad with that. Is it because everybody else is commenting?
Well, no, I just... When you mentioned Garrison's got like an Imperial pumpkin beer. No, it's not my last one. I got plenty of beer. It's just when you mentioned Garrison has an Imperial pumpkin beer, we'll probably never see it in the NSLC because they'd rather take up the shelf space with those big bottles of Tall Ship, which I'm not above. How about a big bottle of Imperial pumpkin instead there, guys?
Yeah, it's hard to get the seasonals out in the outside of the HRM. It's you gotta work for it.
Yeah, you think with Garrison now, would they be able to ship some of that stuff out to the outposts of Nova Scotia?
We got a pumpkin beer. We got a pumpkin beer here. I'm not sure where it's from though. I was gonna buy it, but I'm not crazy on the pumpkin beer.
We were joking earlier with. Okay, ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, some friends of mine were joking earlier on Facebook about who lives in the biggest beer wasteland. And apparently I do. Most people sided with me. I wasn't arguing it, but
it all depends on when, because sometimes you get releases faster than us here in the big city here. So
well, ever since the new brewery opened here, I can't complain as much. So
yeah, that's true. I did finally get a taste of that Tatamagouche brewing.
Did you pick up some Lagerhausen?
No, I opted for the two standard one, Dippy and the Butcher's Walk. So
I picked up some of that and I cellared it as well. So
I posted on my Google Plus there quick reviews of the Tatamagouche stuff. Also a whole bunch of stuff that the missus brought up from Miami here that we'll get it up here. So I did a quick review with that. So check that out.
Did you get Cigar City? Any Cigar City?
I know. I got Terrapin, the Hop Executioner. I got 2 of those. Sweetwater, Goose, Honker's Ale, and stuff that I've had before when we go down to the States there in New England. So Harpoon and an IPA. Torpedo IPA?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Torpedo. It was something. It was another IPA. It was just as good. Ah, damn. Oh well. No worries. No worries. I am finishing up the Picaroons Upstream seasonal ale here that they have. Pretty good stuff.
How you find it?
How
did you like it?
Oh, it's good. It's a nice,
like
refreshing beer. Yeah, no, like I was saying earlier, it's a great, late summer, fall day where you want something relatively light, has a little bit of a little zing to it that, little zing that makes you want to drink it a little faster than you should.
Yeah, it's a session ale, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, 4.5%, but you do want to take your time with it a little bit. I'll be finishing that, but then I have this. I'll show you this, boys. This is my last week. Well, for those who showed up, I was pointing to my all grain gear behind me here, and I was finally kegged my double IPA or my Imperial Amber, but it's a double IPA with Amarillo hops. Anyway, I don't know what I did, boys. I took here on the truck board. I have the OG and the Final Gravity, and I don't know about my math, but this beer ended up being 10.1%. So instead of the 8% that it was supposed to, it was it's really just 8.5%, 9%. But I tell you, that's a session ale. That's good. We'll see. Good thing the show's only on that. What?
The magic of microbrewing, eh?
Mm.
It's all an experiment.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you, it's. I can see why people who go to all grain, once they taste the beer that they produce, just putting a bag of grain in water and letting it go, compared to the extract kits and stuff. I can see why you'll never ever go back to an extract kit. So, not to say there's some mistakes in this one here. There's the Amarillo. There was some dry hopping of the Amarillo for 11 days, and it's just a little too much Amarillo resin in there for my liking. It's good, but it's a little too much. Maybe a different type of hop for the dry hop. So. Anyway, all right. Hey, there are as many old people in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick than in Florida. Did you guys see that story?
Not surprised.
We've been saying that we have a population problem. All the young people are leaving from Alberta, leaving from Ontario, and we're stuck with the old people. And that segment, the baby boomers that are getting to retirement age, is the point where we might actually surpass the ratio with Florida, in terms of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Big problem, boys. That's a big problem for us in the long term.
Yeah, I won't be able to walk on anybody's lawn.
I think it's time somebody opened up a Mr. Furley clothing store. His hands are lethal weapons.
Well, it's
not a surprise, though, really. I mean, everybody goes away to work and they come home to retire and die. I mean, it's kind of depressing when you think about it. Well, and years ago, people used to go to Ontario to go work in the car factories in Windsor or whatever, and sometimes they came back to retire and die. And that's basically what Nova Scotia's new motto should be, come home to die.
Yeah. And it's not just people from here, too. I mean, this is a big, you get Europeans and stuff with dual citizenships or whatever, they retire here because this is a good summer retirement place, summer home.
The winter's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, compared to Florida, where you're fending off mosquitoes and shitty weather all year, where you don't really have seasons all that much, you know.
We don't have crocodiles, but we do have frostbite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a salesman, by the way.
Go ahead, Kerry.
I'm in the home building industry, and we get people that are coming back from away, and they're buying houses here for a third of what they pay for out in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have a good piece of property, if you have a good piece of property, you can put a reasonably good sized house on it, like $1 million is $1 million in Nova Scotia. It's not like the way they say it is in Ontario and everything else. So it is a good place to retire. The cost of living is a little bit more expensive than other places, and taxes are. But if you want to relax and enjoy life, it's a good place. As far as living in Florida, I haven't been there. I've been down in the Caribbean, but I haven't been to Florida. But it's too hot and too humid for me, I think. If I was going to stay there for a long time.
Yeah, I think that's my problem too. It's just a little too warm for my liking.
Too many hillbillies too, really.
That and there's swamps and there's.
Yeah.
No, but it was
snakes. More snakes.
Yeah, rattlers and other spiders and.
It's like going to Australia where everything will kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Except the beer.
Yeah. You know what the worst thing about Australia is?
The only thing that's good is that all the TV shows are the same, and with the amount of snowbirds.
The worst thing about Australia is that it's full of Australians. I mean, really. Sorry, Australia. Don't kill me.
That's okay. Nobody from Australia watches.
Welcome to Avoiding Chores, the Racism Edition.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, no, but it's true what Kerry said. Really, it's a nice. Nova Scotia is a nice little spot, but hopefully it's more than just being a retirement.
But that's the thing. I think seriously though, I don't know. Like you say, everybody's going to go west if you can make 3 or 4 times this money doing something out there that you can't hear. A lot of young people are going to go. I think we have to work on bringing back people with kids. People that maybe don't want are just caught up in making the money. But it's easier said than done, right? Especially if there's no jobs for them to come for, which is
Oh, exactly.
It's a problem.
We have more money coming back from Alberta than we have that's in the local economy right now. All the money I think most of the money our money is spent by people that are buying stuff when they come back home for their 10 days off or 5 days off, whatever, and then they go back and they do it all back in. Sensible people will spend their money home where they can enjoy it.
Yeah. I wonder what's the ratio. I wonder in the South Shore where you hear more about people just staying out in Alberta and just abandoning the families out here in Nova Scotia, and you hear some of these stories, or
some of them too,
like all that stuff. I was listening to this thing where I'm going to try to find the reference here, but in Newfoundland, they are having a really big trouble or problem with the oil workers that come down from away and coming into the city, where it's the prostitution. Where there wasn't a problem before, but now there's a really big problem, and the main people that bring in the problem is these oil workers.
Well, is prostitution the problem, or is it the fact that prostitution is illegal that's the problem?
Here we go.
Any boomtown's going to have a prostitution issue. That's just the way it's always been.
Well, I was listening to podcasts with North Dakota. North Dakota, they're having the same problem. But really, St. John's having the problem. And on CBC, if you go to the CBC Newfoundland News, the title's right here. I found it. It's gang rape issued for St. John's sex workers. Basically, the sex worker gets called. Yeah, basically the sex worker gets called to to a hotel in St. John's, expecting one guy, but there's 10 or 20 guys there, and then there's just that kind of stuff going on.
And I mean, that's the thing. A lot of times the law enforcement doesn't take things like that seriously, and they should take it very seriously.
We had it very.
When it's illegal, they get sick of the prostitutes because they're bringing them in every night. They don't want to deal with them anymore. I mean,
I was just going to say, if it's consenting adults, they agree on a price and they do it. I don't care,
Yeah, and
go for enterprise.
Yeah, if it's in a safe place, like an actual legal, licensed burlesque house or whatever you want to call it, or brothel, bordello, whatever.
But sex.
With security, paid security and stuff like that, tested women.
It's like that in lots of parts of Europe. They have security and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense because you're going to have prostitution whether you do it or not. So you might as well protect the women and you might as well make money off it.
Tax it.
Yes, exactly.
Well, there was
that's terrible. I didn't hear about that, Jim.
No, I heard just a little bit over lunchtime. I was listening to Radio Canada, and they were mentioning it here. And but if you go to CBC Newfoundland, they'll have it right there. And I'm just trying to skim here, but I'm sure there's more to that than what I kind of briefly glanced. It's an interesting story in the Coast yesterday where we had the sexual harassment there. To summarize, this girl and her ex started going on 4chan and all these sites and start posting her phone number and saying that she had this weird fantasy where she'll keep the door unlocked and all you have to do is walk in.
Oh yeah, she had
tie her up and stuff.
That wasn't her that posted it. It was the disgruntled ex.
Exactly. So now you get all these guys thinking, oh, she's into this, rape fantasy, and then the
Somebody's
police.
got to do time for that, That's pretty serious.
That's CD.
Yeah, I would like you. I wonder if you could make like an attempted murder sort of charge stick on that because
apparently the guy that showed up clued in pretty quickly and he said this isn't right and he backed off and he was very cooperative with the police.
Yeah.
But
I mean
somebody just said the hell with it, right?
Yeah, I mean there are people out there who have that fantasy and they're into that sort of thing and they're not trying to hurt anybody. They're just
consenting adults.
Yeah, consenting adults, role playing or whatever they're into, right? But when you do that sort of malicious crap to somebody just because they're your ex or whatever, you're setting someone up for either being raped or attempted murder. Yes.
And not only these kind of malicious things, but any videos or pictures that go on the internet, they're there forever. I mean, it doesn't matter who tries
to you can pull them up. Anyway, we don't. I don't want us to get down to this rabbit hole. We can talk for another whole hour about all these things that are coming out and the whole rape culture and all that stuff. Which there's some. Even I read yet another article today on the YouTube side of things. It's getting out of control in terms of stuff. So and hopefully really
technology always gets ahead of the laws and morality. Yeah. It always outpaces it. It always has.
Yeah. Well, hopefully society as a whole can do something about some of these things. So.
Hey, this wasn't a topic on the board there. I don't see it there.
No. Well, just going on tangents and stuff. Hey, let's check the comments here. Friday night hangout. Grab a brew, shoot the breeze, and the last couple stories are a little bit more positive. Not positive, but better mood than the tangent we just went down. Carrie, anything on the Avoiding Chores website?
Yep. Bluefin says that beer will knock your socks off, and he's just wondering what a session beer is.
Lee.
Session beer, there is like a sort of a traditional British interpretation of what session beer means, where it's basically something that's 4% or under that you can drink all night. You can have a couple. You can drink them all night without getting too sloshed, and you can socialize and have fun. But honestly, I personally think it's anything that you can honestly handle during over several hours and enjoy and not get too sloshed and enjoy yourself. So and anything that's sort of slightly
Easy
lighter
drinking?
on the lighter side, maybe. Easy drinking, yeah. That's generally if you're looking for the traditional British standard, look up like mild ales. That would give you an idea of what the British idea of a session beer is.
He also says that Bluefin also says that was right about the affordable housing in Canada for Atlantic Canada, specifically for retiring people. You get more land in a nicer house for cheaper than anywhere else, and it's a great deal. It is sad that so many of our young people have to move away. 4 of his siblings live on the mainland, and he doubts that any will return. Unfortunate as it is, but and he comments on the story about the raping thing, about whatever. Yeah, the story in Newfoundland. The police are going after the customer, not the prostitutes, and they are very concerned. It's a very, very disturbing story. He says most of the oil workers here are quite normal. He says at least he is. Yeah, but you get them alcohol-fueled binge drinkers that want to do whatever they want to do, and then I've seen.
And well, that sort of life's like just where just the same thing as putting that stuff out on the internet against his girlfriend will attract the creeps. That sort of job, that sort of lifestyle can be a breeding ground for creeps as well, because there's an element of lawlessness to jobs like that to some degree. So.
All right, is that it for the comments, Carrie, on your side?
Yep.
We got one more. All right, perfect. Let's go over to Lee. We got. Do you have any new comments on the YouTube?
Oh, well, I don't know what's going on. Avoiding chores is where all the action is tonight, apparently.
Huh.
No new comments.
We got people watching, so people must be either agreeing with all of us.
They must have heard I was monitoring the comments.
No. It's people usually try to comment. I don't know. Listen, Moosehead is laying off, I think I read here, 40% of their staff over the next year due to a loss of a big contract. And one of the stories indicated that is the Guinness contract that Moosehead has for the region. That's being done back in Ireland, and which is about 70 people, I think, they're going to be laying off. I think that was the number.
Yeah, I read 70.
That's too bad. The only chance is, Yeah,
it's really unfortunate. It's not like recently there, Molson, I think it was saying that they had to lay off a bunch of their people, and they were blaming it on the craft brew industry. Like the union guy was saying, "Oh, it's the craft brewers that are ruining our business." No, it's the fact you're not making good beer that's ruining.
Yes, Lee. Thank you for ending that last point. I don't want to see anybody losing their jobs, but when you start blaming somebody else for your misfortune, when you.
Yeah. But thankfully, no one's saying poo-poo on Garrison Propeller for screwing us here. They're just saying, well, Guinness decided they didn't want to contract with them anymore, so that just tried.
What was that, the bottle Guinness? Guinness in a tin and Guinness in a bottle, and the bottle stuff just doesn't taste like Guinness at all. You know what I mean? It's not the same.
No, what I think they were making Guinness for the U.S. market, I believe, is what they were doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because the article said they were brewing and packaging.
Yeah, because Labatt had the Guinness contract here in Canada for like Guinness Extra Stout, and then I think just Guinness on their own were bringing in their regular draft in cans and stuff like that. So
the Extra Stout's in the bottle, isn't it?
Yeah, the Labatt version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Moosehead can find another brewer that they can do a contract. But
times are changing fast.
Well, I think all those 70 people should form a co-op and start their own microbrewery and branch off on their own and brew whatever they want to do.
Why not?
They have the expertise. Whatever.
They were saying in the article that they were hoping to segue a bunch of them, and like some of them were up for maybe retirement anyway or close to or something like that. So they're hoping to segue as many of them as possible into like good severance packages and in earlier retirement and stuff like that. But still, yeah, it would be nice if they could actually you know, if they could actually do something like, or eventually come back to the company if the company decides to take like another sort of like semi-micro brewery under their wing, like they did with the Hop City thing.
Oh.
They might want to look into that.
Yeah.
That worked out pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah.
The whole Hop City thing. Hop City's not bad.
Yeah.
The IPA seems to be pretty good from the viewers.
Yeah, Hotbot is awesome. Like, if you didn't know it was from Moosehead, you would swear it's just one of the better IPAs in Canada, craft brewed IPAs.
And honestly, me knowing it's from them is almost detrimental when you try it. You know, you have that prejudice in your mind. It's terrible,
Yeah. But now you drink it and it's awesome. So it's
it
like
is. That's right. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next topic, which is Ebola is coming. Confirmed case in Dallas. The wife, he came to the U.S. to get married. I guess there's 10 people that they quarantined. The wife to be, and a few other people. Canada, they're just starting to talk about it, about the what ifs and stuff. We had that little scare in St. John a couple of weeks ago from somebody who came from Africa and stayed at a hotel in St. John. But
I don't understand why they're not controlling the borders a little better.
Well,
maybe that sounds harsh.
Yeah.
But if it's so deadly, why are they just letting people come and go willy-nilly? Why aren't they quarantining them before they leave the country or when they get to the country?
That's exactly.
It's not that contagious, but it's very deadly.
Well, that's exactly it. It said, "Oh, which country are you coming from? Liberia."
But apparently that got live.
Yeah. Oh, please come into the isolation chamber. We're gonna, if you don't mind, we're gonna poke and prod you for a little bit. But I guess the thing is, he didn't show any fever. He didn't show any symptoms and stuff. Now,
well, you can carry it for days and days and days apparently before it.
What was it? 21 days, like 3 weeks until you start.
First carry it.
Now,
I mean, it's a pretty complex disease. It's it's not like H1N1 or SARS, which were respiratory. You can breathe it in. This is just basically bodily fluids, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fluids. Yep.
Yeah.
So unless you've exchanged fluids of some sort with an actual person infected, you're fine. Don't worry.
Wash your hands.
Well, I saw a funny thing, a funny tweet from some comedian saying he found it funny that all of a sudden with this Ebola scare, everyone's washing their hands more, using sanitizer and stuff. Yet we've known about AIDS for 30, 40 plus years, and people still aren't using condoms. I mean. It just shows you the mentality. It just shows you. I
went to Liberia and all I got was Ebola.
Yeah, it shows you the scare tactic sort of mentality that the media plays up. Like they do the same thing with every strain of flu that kills like 10 people in China or something, right?
Channels, right? We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
They have to.
They need a story.
Something up.
Yeah, they need a story. I mean, okay, it killed 600 people or so in like Africa. That's understandable because their health care is not as good as ours. But if one person drops, yeah, I mean, if one person drops dead here, people start to panic. Like, no, start panicking when like a few thousand people drop in one day here. Then you might have some.
How many people die of the flu every year in Canada? How many people die of the flu every year in Canada?
Thousands.
More than you think. Yeah.
Yep. And it's people susceptible to it. Young people.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Ebola is horrible, but people have to calm down.
Yeah, they really do.
Calm down.
I just saw my Facebook feed plugged all week with, oh my god, Ebola, and I was just thinking to myself, how many people am I going to have to unfriend this week because I'm getting sick of seeing this shit.
Unfollow.
All right, let's check the comments.
ISIL might be worse than Ebola.
Yeah, ISIL. Yeah, we haven't touched that yet, but I'm sure we'll get to ISIL in a couple weeks. Carrie, any new comments on the Voting George show page?
Checking. Oh, wait. Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, Bluefin's got a couple here.
All right.
No, actually, he's just got one.
Oh, okay.
He says, thanks, Lee. He thought that the session beer was the exact opposite. He says he thought it was a stronger beer that took you longer to drink that turned into a session, as opposed to what you said, where you have a milder beer which turns into a longer session.
Anyway, I see the logic behind that.
I've stood in pubs in England and I've drank session beers for a long time, and it was to see who could stand at the table before someone had to go to the washroom. So after 5 or 6 minutes, you know,
it turned round. Oh, I can go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was drinking John Smith's Spitter then. That was good beer.
All right, Lee, what we got on the YouTube page? Get a few.
Yeah, we got some comments here. Jason Spears says, yes, Moosehead lost again his contract. I heard at work as the railroad is scrambling to fill all of the cars they're not going to be shipping out of New Brunswick anymore. Yeah.
Makes sense.
And yeah, and Bluefin came in here, decided to throw me a bone. He said, hey, Lee, I'll make you work a little here tonight. There's very minimal chance that craft brewers are affecting the large commercial breweries. Many craft breweries still buy commercial at time craft brewers, craft drinkers and stuff. Yeah, it's true. I mean, we're really not hurting the bigger breweries that much.
No, we didn't hurt them. Yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah, and Arthur Donald asks, does the panel think growlers are a good deal? I personally do, but it's highly subjective. It depends on the price and it depends on the beer. Those are the factors, right?
It's more money than macro brew, but it's still a good deal.
Depends on the brewer.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are a little bit more expensive than others, but I think the price is pretty much settling down, though. I think. All right, last topic of the night, kids, and then we can start the shutting things down. This is a good one here. Muskrat hats for toques. Oh, sorry, we got two stories here. Muskrat, the RCMP. Somebody was saying to the RCMP, stop killing muskrats. The highly breedable, easy to breed pests. Stop making your fur hats.
They're plentiful. Yeah.
Use toques, and they were saying, yeah, we're going to try out some toques, but
muskrats make a great hat.
They make awesome hats. So it looks like the trappers and the
better than rabbit
in that industry, people from up north who rely on the muskrat sales to make a living and stuff. RCMP is re-looking at.
I don't know. I guess maybe it's my roots showing, but I grew up. My father trapped when I grew up and put food on the table. I mean, fur was very lucrative back in the 70s and 80s. And, I saw how it was done. It was done very humanely. And people wear leather, and they don't think twice about it. Leather boots, leather jackets, leather everything. Nobody says boo about that, but fur is a big taboo thing to talk about. And like I said, maybe my roots are showing, but I don't really see how it is an issue.
No, we're not talking about thousands of RCMP muskrat hats, too. They only
That's right. It's not a slaughter. It's not like it's not like when they tried to wipe out the sea otters.
No. And the other thing too, once it gets cold, I'll be taking out my rabbit fur hat, and
just don't get your rabbit fur hat wet.
Yeah, don't get it wet, but great hat. It does the job. What can I say? It does the job. So I want my fur hat.
See,
Carrie,
I'm
with Keith on that.
Yeah,
I'm with Keith on that. As far as the synthetics go to keep your head warm, yeah, sure, it's all right. It's cheap, and
you can't beat
it'll
nature.
do the purpose. It'll do the purpose. But if you want to keep that staunch look, where the constable shows up, he's got either his Stetson on or he's got his winter hat on, then there you go. Some guy with a tube coming up to me and saying, I don't know about that.
You can't get the rabbit hats wet, but if you have a muskrat hat or a beaver hat, you can get it wet.
Yeah. But it's that same thing. Pretty soon they'll be taking their surge jackets away from them, giving them the raincoat. So it works the same way. You don't over sensationalize something that it might just be budget wise, but when somebody stands up in Parliament and says, "Hey, listen, what the hell is the RCMP getting away from these fur hats?" I mean, it's only The rodent is a rodent. It's easy to catch.
Yeah.
It's easy to skin.
It's traditional.
It's
It's not. It's a tradition. I don't know. I don't see
Yeah,
what
it's
the big deal is.
yeah, it's not.
For
Yeah,
every
it's
person
not,
they appease, they're alienating people too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, when my last interaction with the RCMP back in January, the constable who was with me there for a few hours there, he had to wear his hat because it was just one of these cold days, and I had my fur hat on too. So, yeah, I wouldn't think having like a branded Under Armour toque is gonna do the job. Like, you needed.
It won't work. No.
No, it won't work. No. Like you were saying, like what Keith was saying too, and what you were saying too, Carrie. It's like, people don't talk about leather, but there's just some stuff that
they wear leather boots in their uniform, and they wear leather shirt.
Yeah.
Leather holster,
So
leather belt.
Natural does better than synthetics. Lee, you've been quiet on this topic.
I got no problem with it. I mean, so a handful of people are they feel bad that the cute little muskrats are getting skinned alive or whatever. Would they feel better if it was a less? Would they feel better if it was a less attractive animal, like a dirty raccoon that's been rifling your garbage all night? I mean, raccoons are like a pest. So maybe yeah.
Davy Crockett.
Yeah, there we go. Davy Crockett. You can't refute that. But no,
he wears a hat next week on Avoiding Chores.
I got news for you. We exploit animals, right or wrong, and you're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
We eat them, we wear them.
Yeah, we wear them, we eat them.
It gets cold, and we need their fur.
And you know why we do that? Because we're animals.
Yep. All right.
PETA. What does PETA really stand for? People eating tasty animals.
Yes.
I like that. I'd wear that on a shirt.
Hey, we're another animal-related story, and this is the last story, and then we'll cut it for the night. A man smuggles 51 turtles in his pants.
I'm sorry. If you have 51 turtles in your pants, you ain't smuggling shit.
He had,
one down there in a discreet area, kind of tuck it in maybe, but 51, come on.
He was only able to fit about 10 of those turtles in his crotch area, and all the rest of them were up and down his leg.
Was he taping them on or something? Or what?
Found them there, and he had all different types of turtles, and some of them might go for like 800 per. Like, there were some of these rare turtles. And his name is Kaizu.
Right.
His name is dumbest criminal ever.
What was that? His first attempt? I mean, I don't know. I haven't smuggled, but I'm sure there's a smart way and a dumb way to do it.
Sounds like the police had his eye on him. I guess he's one of these animal smugglers or whatever. And
where did he smuggle it in from? Where was he
well, he was crossing at the Detroit-Windsor border, going into the States, so he got them in Canada.
Oh.
Wow. So a well-known animal smuggler tries to cross the border with a pants full of turtles. Yeah.
He didn't have like stuck in the dash or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just sticking here. In his pants.
Please, sir, you step out of the car. We'll check.
Was he trying to wear any sort of disguise? Did he have a fake mustache on or anything to try to stop the cops?
I hear they caught his brother trying to come through wearing a cocaine wig.
Stupid is as stupid does.
I don't know. Not very discreet.
I don't know. It just seems like one of these odd things that people do.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
Hey, kids, we'll do one last check on the comments, and then we'll just quit for another week. Great panel tonight. Great stories, great interaction from people here, so we'll give a chance for the boys to refresh the page. Just a reminder that the replay is going to come on in about 10-15 minutes once we're done the show, and the podcast version will be up over the weekend, so you can download that on your favorite MP3 player. Carrie, do we have any last comments on votingtours.com?
Bluefin has serious. Asthma kills about 250 Canadians each year. How many people die from asthma? You know,
Yeah.
Still, I commented about communicable diseases before on an earlier session here. So there are lots of diseases that go around, and we have to concern ourselves about immunization. If you can get immunized, do it. Doesn't matter. It's going to work. He also says that the RCMP should keep the fur hats, and he agrees with Lee. And also, great show tonight, and he'll see you next week.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Mike, up in Newfoundland. Lee, what we got? Do you have any last comments on the YouTube?
No, nothing new on the YouTube.
What? Well, we got a bunch of people watching, so they must be either entertained or watching something else, using us as the second screen. As they watch the real TV. All right, so with that, kids, we're going to shut it down for another week. We do this every Friday. I'd like to thank the panel, like to thank commented, really appreciate it, and also like to thank everybody who's watching. Really appreciate that too. And we'll see you guys next Friday with another episode. Till then, bye-bye, everybody.